Hey YouTube, Pokemon trainer Harry Ghost here, and today I am bringing a very fun and interesting Mega Feraligatr team. Feraligatr is one of the many first partner Pokemon to receive a Mega Evolution, which it goes from a Mono Water type to a Water and Dragon type. Mega Feraligatr is also one of the many Mega Evolutions to receive a signature ability. Its signature ability Dragonize changes all its normal type moves into the Dragon type and boosts the power of those moves by 20%. So as you can see from the team preview screen, we have Feraligatr with the Feraligatr, Choice Scarf Zoroark, White Herb Sneasler, Bright Powder Mousehold with Follow Me, Citrus Berry Serperior, and Leftovers Corviknight. So yeah, let's just jump right into the battles. So my very first opponent, Presto Fart, very interesting name, is running a Sun team with a potential dual mega with either Charizard or Manectric as their mega evolutions, I am assuming, but we'll see. So my opponent leads off with Whimsicott and their Sneasler, as I lead off with my own Sneasler and my Zoroark. So I led off with this expecting the Sneasler to lead off to click Fake Out or something, because most Sneaslers lead off to click Fake Out and set and get their partner Pokemon to set up or deal damage or whatever. So I click Fake Out into their opposing Sneasler and I click Trick into the opposing Sneasler, because 99% of Sneaslers do run White Herb with Unburden. So by giving it a Choice Scarf, it will no longer be able to activate Unburden. Sure, it will be fast, but it will not be able to activate Unburden. So potentially my own Unburden Sneasler can activate my Unburden by consuming my White Herb. My opponent's Whimsicott clicks Moonblast into my Sneasler, doing a bit of damage. Now this turn, I don't mind losing my Zoroark, because I know my opponent is either going to attack into my Zoroark because they see Mousehold, or they switch out their Sneasler. So I click U-turn into the opposing Whimsicott and I click Direct Claw into the opposing Whimsicott, expecting the Sneasler to either switch out as I said or attack into the Mousehold which they see. But my opponent, Presto Fart, makes a brain fart, because they click Protect with their Choice Scarf Sneasler and they click Encore into the Mousehold which they see, which the Mousehold is actually a Zoroark. So Encore does not affect me, but either way, even if I was a Mousehold, because they protected with their Sneasler, even if I got Encore locked, I would not have been able to switch items back, because as I said, they protected with their Choice Scarf Sneasler. So I get off the U-turn and I get off the Dire Claw without losing my Zoroark at all. Down goes my opponent's Whimsicott, and my opponent's Sneasler is choice locked into Protect. So this turn, I wait for my opponent to send out. So my opponent sends out their Charizard, and this turn I expect the Charizard to click the Mega button and Mega evolve into Mega Charizard Y, because though 99% of Charizard are Mega Charizard Y. And you might have seen in the team preview screen, but I do have a counter for Sun teams, because Sun lowers my water type stab damage. So I do have a counter to that opposing Sun teams. So my opponent's Charizard Mega evolves into Mega Charizard Y as expected, and I Mega evolve with my Feraligatr into Mega Feraligatr. My opponent's Mega Charizard Y sets up the drought, and we do click Mega Evolution with on my Feraligatr into Mega Feraligatr, as I do carry Rain Dance on my Sneasler. So my opponent's Mega Charizard Y cannot set up the Sun. The Rain is set up by my Sneasler. My opponent finishes off my Sneasler with Air Slap, but that is fine. Water type stab boosted 160 base power. In the rain, liquidation is going to delete that Mega Charizard Y, and down goes my opponent's Mega Charizard Y, and down goes their Mega Pokemon, and a potential Weather War is removed. Now I switch into my Mousehold to redirect any incoming damage into my Mega Feraligatr. So this is actual mouse hold which my opponent might expect. I click follow me and I click stab liquidation into the opposing Sneasler. So my so I click follow me, my opponent is choice cuff, so it will outspeed me either way. Sneasler does outspeed both Mousehold and Feraligatr, Mega Feraligatr, because Feraligatr and Mega Feraligatr both have 78 base speed. Down goes my Mousehold to close combat, and stab liquidation in the rain is going to delete that Sneasler as well. Surprisingly, my opponent's Venusaur did not outspeed me with Sleep Powder, because I think they were expecting Chlorophyll to do all the speed heavy lifting, and so because of that, because Venusaur does have a higher base speed than Mega Feraligatr, but because they are not max speed Venusaur, they get off their Sleep Powder after I KO their Sneasler. So this turn I am sleeping with my Mega Feraligatr, but I still have a full health Zoroark. I click stab Night Daze into the opposing Venusaur. Mega Feraligatr is sleeping. Sludge Bomb does not KO my Zoroark. And this turn, once again, I click Night Daze. I click Dragon type Body Slam. Dragon Eyes boosted into the Venusaur. I don't know why I want my opponent's Venusaur to be Mega Venusaur. My opponent's Venusaur lives at very low health. After the Night Daze, Mega Feraligatr wakes up, gets off the stab, body slam, and down goes my opponent's Venusaur. So yeah, we do win this battle and defeat Prestofart, because I'll be damned if I lose to someone with the name of Prestofart. So yeah, on to the next battle. My opponent is some Japanese or Korean, I don't know foreign languages that much, but he or she is a Dragon type gym leader, and they are running a rain team. So my opponent leads off with Pelipper and Starmie, as I lead off with Zoroark and Serperior. They set up the rain with their Drizzle Pelipper, and my opponent sees Feraligatr, but I am actually Zoroark. So I click Choice Scarf Night Daze into the opposing Starmie, and I click Light Screen with my Serperior, because we are actually dual screen Serperior, to increase the bulk of my team and my Mega Feraligatr just a little bit. My opponent Mega evolves their Starmie into Mega Starmie, so the Mega Starmie with huge power is right there, but it is not there for too long, because Stab Night Days from my Zoroark KOs the opposing Mega Starmie. I click Light Screen as my opponent clicks Tailwind to get the speed control, but we do outspeed and knock out the Mega Pokemon on my opponent's team turn 1. In comes Sneasler, and since they saw Feraligatr but on the first turn, but now they know that I am not actually Feraligatr, I am a Zoroark, and they are under Tailwind. I am threatened by stab close combat, so I switch into my Mouse Hold to increase the bulk of my Serperior with Friend Guard and hopefully live Dire Claw and Hurricane combo. But my opponent clicks Fake Out into my Zoroark slot and clicks Hurricane, and which we live very easily. We don't even be brought down to 50% health. We click Glare into the opposing Sneasler, slowing it down a bit, but because it is under Tailwind, the Glare still makes the Sneasler faster. So this turn I click Follow Me, and I click Reflect with my Serperior Expect, hoping that in case I do dodge the opposing close combat with my Bright Powder, I will be able to have both my Mouse Hold and my Serperior behind Reflect. But my opponent does connect close combat into my Mouse Hold and with a crit, and so we do go down with my Mouse Hold, but we are able to set up the Reflect. my opponent activates their white hub after clicking close combat, but we do set up the reflect, so we have both our dual screen set up, both reflector and light screen are set up on our side. Now I send in my Feraligatr because we are under rain, and I would love to make use of my opponent's rain with my water stab, but unfortunately we are also in front of a dragon type, so this turn I am not going to click the mega evolution button, because I don't want to be taking potential super effective dragon type damage from my opponent's Garchomp, which was the correct play because my opponent does click Dire Claw and Scale Shot into my Feraligatr expecting Mega Feraligatr. My opponent gets a crit, and both a crit and all 5 turns with their Garchomp, so that is a very lucky Garchomp. But because we didn't click Mega Evolution with our Feraligatr, we are able to live. Stab Liquidation Sheer Force boosted is able to dominate that Sneasler, and down goes my opponent's Sneasler. We do paralyze the opponent Garchomp as well with the Glare, and so this turn, because my opponent is so slow and paralyzed Garchomp, my opponent clicks the forfeit button, and so we win this battle as well versus Dragon type Gym Leader. Now my third opponent, Mabo, is running a potential dual Mega team with Mega Floet and Mega Kangaskhan as well. So yeah, my opponent Mabo is potential dual Mega, and is another potential dual Mega, which dual Mega teams do have a surprise factor, because you can choose to bring either of your 2 Mega Evolutions based on the opposing team matchup. My opponent leads off with Sylveon and Floet, and I lead off with my Sneasler and Serperior. Because I do like leading Sneasler and Serperior, it allows me to click dual screen with my Serperior a bit easily due to fake out from my Sneasler. My opponent Mega Evolves their Mega Floet into Mega Floet, and expecting protect into the opposing Mega Floet slot, I click fake out into the Sylveon slot and get off my light screen. So because of this, my opponent's special attackers on the opposing side cannot deal as much damage as they potentially wanted. Now this turn, because my opponent's Mega Floet had protected last turn, I click Dire Claw and I click Stab Leaf Storm into the Mega Floet slot, but obviously they are threatened by this, so they do switch out. Slight spoilers, they do switch out their Mega Floet into their Sinistcha, which Sinistcha will be able to live this barrage of attack, because Sinistcha does resist Stab Leaf Storm and has a very high defense stat to live this Dire Claw as well. We do connect our Leaf Storm, get our +2 special attack boost thanks to Contrary. Dire Claw brings Sinistcha down to 30% health. Stab Hyper Voice from my opponent Sylveon does not deal as much damage as I said as they potentially wanted because of our light screen. Now this turn, because we are Adamant Sneasler and not Jolly Sneasler, our Serperior does outspeed our Sneasler, so we will be able to get off our Leaf Storm before we are able to attack with our Sneasler. So this turn we potentially get a double KO by knocking out the opposing Sinistcha with Leaf Storm and knocking out the opposing Sylveon with Dire Claw, but my opponent Sylveon does protect. Leaf Storm, Stab Leaf Storm with +2 special attack is able to KO this Sinistcha. We get another special attack boost, and Dire Claw is going to be protected on by my opponent's Sylveon. Now my opponent is choosing their turn. Not slight spoiler because the turn is playing now. My opponent does bring in their Mega Floet, and this turn I click Glare into my opponent's Mega Floet because Mega Floet is extremely fast. It has 102 base speed, so I do click Glare into the opposing Mega Floet, trying to slow it down a bit. slow it down by 50%. Dire Claw, stab Dire Claw from my Sneasler, one hit KOs the opposing Sylveon, and my opponent is done with my superior shenanigans. I am at plus 4 special attack as well, so my opponent clicks Light of Ruin into my superior slot and KOs my superior because they were that threatened. Take a hefty chunk of damage due to clicking Light of Ruin into my superior because Light of Ruin does 50% of the damage dealt back to the user. So my opponent is paralyzed at very low health, and this turn they bring out their Basque Legion, and expecting the opposing Basque Legion to be Choice Scarf and KO one of my either my Sneasler or my Mega Feraligatr because I do click the Mega Evolution button. I do not want to be tanking a super effective fairy type attack fairy or a booster from my opponent's Floet. So expecting the Best Legend to be Choice Scarf and knock out one of my two Pokemon. Potentially Sneasler because Sneasler is not at full health and it will go down to a Scarf last respects. I double target the Mega Floet slot, but my opponent is not Choice Scarf. We do get the Dire Claw off, KOing the Mega Floet, and because my opponent is not Choice Scarf, it did not KO my either my Sneasler or my Mega Feraligatr before attacking. We do get off Stab Liquidation, 160 base attack liquidation into the opposing Basque Legion, do respectable damage, do over a quarter of damage with Stab Liquidation, as my opponent does knock out my Mega Feraligatr with last respects. So I am thinking maybe it is choice banned because I don't think last respects would have been able to, maybe it is adaptability, last respects 200 base power, maybe it was enough to KO my Mega Feraligatr. We don't know, but we do get knocked out. We don't know whether it is uh, just raw damage or it is choice banded Basque Legion. We don't know, but it does not matter because we are Choice Scarf Zoroark, and Choice Scarf Zoroark does outspeed non-Scarf Basque Legion any day of the week. So we click Dire Claw into the opposing Basque Legion and we do click Stab Night Days. Stab Night Days easily KOs the Basque Legion and down goes my opponent Basque Legion and we win this battle as well. So yeah, this was the battle. Yeah, we win. Yeah, we get all these rewards for winning this battle. This was the battle and this was the video. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next time.